Okay, looks like it's working now. Okay, so hi everybody. So today the plan is, well, I've already released all the tasks we used to do, so you can work on them at your own pace. But as I said before, the deadline is New Year's Eve, so you have till the 31st to finish the assignment. Today, since I've had a couple of people ask about it, I'm just going to do like a video walkthrough of how to do task 8, really. So pretty much all I'll be doing is going through the notes that I've given you for task 8, but doing it myself in case they don't explain enough for you. So if you haven't done it yet, maybe you can just refer back to this to see what I did. And if not, if you've already done it, maybe you'll pick up something you didn't know before, which could be useful. But if you've already done task 8 and you don't really care about watching this, you don't have to, because that's all I'm going to be doing today, really. I'll probably do this for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I'll spend the rest of the lesson just getting back to your emails because they're starting to pile up a wee bit here. But anyway, so once you open the Easy Builder Pro software, you need to make a new project, and you'll have a list of HMIs to pick through. So the one you want to go for is the CMT3151 with the 1024 by 768 resolution, and you want to have landscape selected. Press OK, and you'll be coming up with system parameter settings. So what you'll want to do in here is, here you'll have your addresses, well, the devices that will be part of your network. So this will be your HMI and the PLC. So if you go on to new device / server, you'll be, a window will come up that says Modbus TCP / IP. I would probably rename that to, well, whatever you want to call it, your PLC in the system. So I'll call it Formula Z Production PLC. Again, you can call it whatever you need to. So you'll have settings in here for your IP address and whatever. For the sake of it, we'll leave them as default for this, but if you had to adhere to a certain IP range in real life, that's where you would change it. So once you press OK, you'll have your HMI and your PLC, and that's all you need to do from that point. So you press OK, you're just left with a bit of a blank window here. So this window here is where you will design everything for the project in. So say you wanted a button, and whenever you push that button, it'll perform some action. So say, for instance, starting or stopping a pump. So you could click this bit object, and it'll give you a menu to create a new bit object. So, sorry, let me pull up the address list. I forgot to do that. Okay, so say I wanted a button that whenever I press it, it started running Formula Pump 1. So I need to use the address 4x200. So if I go into address here, this is 4x bit, and then set that to 200. If you're not aware of it already, memory in PLCs, it's stored. Memory in anything really is stored in bits and bytes, really. Like, say your phone will probably have like 256 gigabytes of memory or whatever. Well, the smallest form of memory is a bit, and this signal will only take up 1 bit. So you can have other signals, like analog signals. They'll be larger, since like a digital signal is only going to be either on or off. It's 0 or 1 in binary terms, so it doesn't take up a lot of memory to store that. But an analog value could be millions, so it could be a lot larger. So it'll probably be like a byte, which is 8 bits, or a word, which would be 2 bytes, or a double word, which be 32 bytes and so on. I'm rambling here anyway, but if you wanted to make this start button 4x bit 200, we'll get there. Okay. So there's various different attributes you can set on your buttons. So if you have it as like set on, that means if you press a button, it'll set it as on, but it wouldn't come back on again until some other condition tells it to come back off. So for the sake of this, I'm going to set it as momentary, because I'm taking it from the perspective that there'll be something in the PLC which will control the resetting of it. So momentary means that that's only active for as long as you're pressing it. So you don't need to hold it down. Well, if the PLC didn't latch the signal, you would need to hold it down, but for this purpose, I'm assuming it will. While you're in this window, you can change what the button will actually look like. You can go into picture library and there is several different options you can get at. There are hundreds of options there. I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but say I'll make it a green rectangular button just for argument's sake, and I will go into the label tab here and select use label. So inside here you can just write whatever you want to appear as text on the label. So say I'll say start in all caps, and then you'll have like a transparent box here. If you click that, you'll have a start button. Right, so we've done the push button. Oh, something you can also do is you can copy and paste. So say you'll have 4 start buttons. So you'll have one for, what have I done with that window? There's the addressing. So you'll have one for formula pump 1 run, formula pump 2 run, formula pump B1 run, formula B pump 2 run. So you'll have one at address 200, 202, 204, 206. So as soon as you copy and paste that, you can just go in, change that to a 2, change that to a 4, change that to a 6, and either that would do pump 1A, pump 1B, formula A, pump 1, formula A, pump 2, formula B, pump 1, formula B, pump 2. And I'll worry about laying them out better later, but this is just giving you the rundown on how to create them anyway. So say you wanted to make the stop button as well, you could copy and paste it again, change start to stop, go into the label, change the color to red or something more appropriate, and change the address to, oh, sorry, I'm opening stuff by mistake here. So formula pump 1 stop would be 201. So if you press that button now, it would stop that. So same again, you can copy and paste it a few times. Then these will need to be shifted up as well. So that'll be 203, 205, and 207. I think anyway, let me double check that. Yep, that's right. Okay, so that's your push buttons anyway for starting and stopping the pumps. So another thing you can have is bit lamps. So a bit lamp is something that will light up depending upon if the if the address that you've assigned to it is on or off. So that's the one here that looks like a light bulb. So in your addresses, something that could be used as a bit lamp would be compound A, pump 1 running feedback signal. So if compound A, pump 1 is running, you will get a signal back from the PLC to the HMI to show that it is running. So, sorry, what was that again? 4x 700. So again, that'll be 4x bit 700. And you can make that look like, well, a green circle will probably be fine, but as always, you can go in and change that. For argument's sake, I won't bother right now. And again, you can copy and paste across. So imagine there'll be 1, 2, and 3 for the other ones. Yep. So 700, 701, 702, 703. Okay, so theoretically, if you were plugged into the PLC and the pumps, you would press the start button and that would light up, showing you that the pump was running. Then you could press the stop button, pump would stop, and that would turn back off again. Okay. Okay, so one of the next things I've included in the notes is a numeric object. So a numeric object is represented by 3 9s in a green box over another button. And the numeric object could be stuff like a count of flow, like your flow rate or how much flow has passed through the system since a certain point. What have I used in the addresses for flow? Okay, so compound A flow uses 4x3, so this won't be a byte because, sorry, this won't be a bit because it is too large since it's an analog value. So if you just put in 4x3, you can, as always, change what it'll look like. I won't bother with doing that now. You can change what format, font, whatever you want to use to make it look like in there. You can make it so that if someone is actually operating the HMI, they can go in and input the number. You don't want that on that because someone will just change it. So you can make your input address that. Sorry, I'm giving you the wrong information here. No, it's just reading from here. Don't worry about what I just said there. So say that was your flow for pump A. So we have flow for, sorry, compound A, not pump A. So you'd have another one for compound B, and that would be addressed 4x5, I think. Yep. You also have a couple for leaders since the duty has been swapped on the pumps, just to show how long it's been since they've been swapped around, if one's been bearing too much of the brunt of the production. And another one for leaders since the last time it has been reset. That's just for like maintenance purposes or whatever. So you'd pretty much want to copy and paste that 2 times and change the addresses again. So we change that to 5, 7, 9, and 11. Double check I'm right about that. Oh, I missed something. Sorry, I started from 5. I should have started from 7. 7, 9, 11, 13. So one of the things you can add in as well is a text box. It's very simple, same as adding text in anything really. So say you wanted it to say, I don't know, pump 1. You can change what it looks like there. Say it'll be fairly large text. Pump 1. Pump 2. Yeah, that's probably about right. I'm going to split these up into compound A and compound B. Okay, I know I'm taking up quite a lot of space with this here, but sure, I can make it pretty later on. This will be functional at least anyway. Okay, so I think the last thing I told you you need to have in is the toggle switch. And the toggle switch could be used for like swapping between pump 1 and pump 2 duty. So I gave the address for that. What did I give that? Okay, compound A pump duty switch is 4x bit 210. And whenever you press it, it toggles. And of course, with same as all the rest of them, you can, sorry, wrong button, you can change what it looks like. Yeah, let's go for this one, why not? Yeah, it's terrible placing. Yeah, there's no good reason for that to be vertical. Surely horizontal would make a lot more sense. Right. I'm taking up far too much space with silly stuff here. But as I said, I'll make it look nice later. Okay, so compound B is 211. So I can control the duty for that. I'll leave it there. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the objects that I included in the example, I think. Let me just double check here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, resets. I didn't include them. So I'll include another button. So I could just copy and paste, but I'll show you how to do it from the start again. So the compound A liter count reset is 4x208. I'll make that gray, why not? And make it say reset. I'll stick it there for now. And another one, which I imagine is 209. Yep, 209. Okay, so the idea behind that is whenever you press reset, it will reset these boxes, which are meant to be the liters since it was last reset by maintenance or anything, if they'd replaced the pumps or taken them out to perform routine checks on them. Okay, so if you want to change the background color, you can right click on the back, go into attribute, and pick whatever you want. The default color is some sort of lilac thing, which is fine. Joe might have shared some documents with you before about best practice in HMIs, where they say to use like soft pastel colors, which is fair enough. To be honest, working in industry, I very rarely see any which use soft pastel colors. They're nearly all black and white with like flashing red lights and green and red buttons and whatever, but it's up to you. Just don't make it look too garish. So I'm gonna go for a nice boring shade of light grey. How does that sound? Lovely. Okay. So say you wanted to separate what you had in here into like little boxes within the screen. So there should be a shape tool. Okay, so not necessarily just shape, but this is a rectangle. I haven't used this one in a while, so forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I should be able to just draw that, fill it. So say I want what's a not too hideous color? We'll use the default pastely lilac thing that they were going with. Okay, why is it not stopping? There we go. Okay, so yeah, what had happened there was I had already made one rectangle, and then I'd started adjusting the properties for the second rectangle because I hadn't exited from using the rectangle making tool. So you can see that it's pretty much covered everything we have there. So you should be able to, okay, maybe not right click it, but if you go to this button here, it just looks like 3 squares, and click move to back. It'll move that behind everything that it's around. So all the things here I could probably group a lot better, to be fair. Because I'm not terribly imaginative, I'm probably going to group them the same way that I have in the tutorial to stop me from having to make something up on the fly. So in the notes I had grouped up all the control into one box and all the like data into another box. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to move all these over here. This could get a bit messy here. Can I just move these off screen? Will that work alright? I'll come back for them. Okay. Oh, something that is quite handy is say you've put stuff all over the place and you want to be able to line it up nice and quickly, or easily anyway. If you hold control and then click, you can select multiple things. And then there are various tools here, like aligning them along the horizontal center, which will just line them up with themselves for you. So that's a nice handy option. So I'm going to bring in a text box to say that this is the pump duty toggle. I'll put that beside these two duty switches. Alright, I'm going to shift all this way over because it's taking up more space than it has to. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of these buttons, make sure they're all along the vertical center and that they're all spaced evenly across. I'm going to do the same thing with these. So vertical center, spaced evenly across. Very good. Same again. Vertical center, spaced evenly across. Vertical center, spaced evenly across. Okay. To be honest, I should probably still move that in a fair bit. Yeah, I'll tighten that up a little bit. Just we have a fair bit of information to get onto quite a small screen. So I'll need to space everything properly again once I've done this, but that'll be fine. So space evenly across, space evenly across, space evenly across. And I'm going to highlight all of them and make the text smaller. I hope that it does it for all of them, because I regret making them that big. It only did it for one. Oh well. So line up your, if I line up my outer ones with everything else, then I can use them as the basis for everything else. So space them evenly across and align vertically. This should all be nice and neat. But they're not. Oh, because they're all not nice and neat, that's why. Okay, that's better. Okay, so since I'm breaking these up this way, I can afford to stretch them out vertically a little. I'll bring that down in font size because it's a bit bigger than it has to be. And I'll make another text box there that just says pump control. I'll make that a wee bit bigger because that's more like a header. Okay, so we can bring all my other stuff back down and okay, so I'm gonna copy this window. I'll make it another color. This faint yellow, sure. Nice sickly yellow. That's not working. Because I should have picked that one. There we go. So again, we'll need to move that to the very back. So that's those 3 squares. So move it back. That's you. So I'm going to make another text box, call it formula flow or something appropriate like that. And then I will line those all up with each other, as we've done several times before by this point. Then I will space them out vertically so they're not all tied up together. And that'll do. Also, since I'm sure you can see all the addresses on all of these boxes, you can get rid of that by going into view and turning off object ID and object address, because they will make your screenshots quite ugly, but it doesn't really matter either way. It's personal preference. So I'm going to make this TA Chemicals formula Z reduction. Bang that in the middle. Okay, so the last thing you really need to do, well, throughout task 8, well, you don't need to do it for everything, but for each type of thing, so like your buttons, your lamps, your toggle switches, and your like numeric objects, you just need to take a snip of the properties. So just the general one to show that you put the address in and say, you know, if I press this button, it would make pump 1 run, that sort of thing. Or if you looked at this, you'd see the amount of flow currently of compound A. Then when you're all done, you need to compile your project, give it a random name. Well, don't give it a random name, give it a sensible name. Do I need to Did it compile it? What am I doing? Oh, sorry, you need to press the compile button. Of course you do. And you'll see there that it says it's succeeded, so that just means there's no obviously wrong errors. So providing all your addressing is right, that should work. So take another screenshot of that and stick that in your assignment. Then when you're all done with that, update your Gantt chart with some slightly different times. Like say, maybe it took you longer to learn how to use Easy Builder Pro than you thought it would have. That sort of thing. Just change it slightly and paste it in and give some made up reasons why it doesn't work. And save it in case you need to come back to this anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to task 8. If anyone was actually watching that, well done for sticking around. And I'm gonna stop it here and get back to your questions anyway. So all the best, I'll see you later.